Have you ever noticed how the most unforgettable women rarely speak the loudest, but they are the ones who are most deeply felt? Not because of what they say, but because of how they carry themselves, how they look without needing to explain, how they lean in without chasing, how their silence, their glance, their presence says everything he never even knew he was searching for. That's the part he remembers long after the words fade. Not the voice, but the energy behind it. There's something powerful about a woman who understands the silent language of love. He may not even be able to explain it, but he feels it. In the way she walks into a room with calm confidence, in the way she holds his gaze without fear or hesitation, in the way she listens without needing to fix him. These are not random habits. These are the quiet forces that build connection deeper than surface talk. And the truth is, real connection never starts with the mouth. It starts with the energy. It starts with presence. He won't tell his friends this. He might not even understand it himself. But the way your energy sits across from him, the way your posture shows self-respect, the way your stillness tells him you're not here to be impressed. You're here to observe. That's what pulls him in. Because a man may chase beauty, but he stays for energy. And queens, that's where your power lives, not in louder words, but in quieter strength. A poet once said, "Her silence wasn't empty, it was filled with answers." That's how deep your presence can go. Think of a rose that blooms in stillness. It doesn't shout, it doesn't ask to be picked. It just radiates, and anyone near it can feel the difference. You are that rose. And once you begin to live in that truth, you stop needing validation, you stop seeking approval, you become magnetic simply by being rooted in yourself. So no, this isn't about forcing a man to connect with you. This is about becoming a woman so present, so grounded, so whole. That connection has to find you, not because you demand it, but because you are it. And that, beautiful woman, is the first step of living as a queen. Now, let's talk about the specific non-verbal behaviors that don't just attract him, but awaken something deeper in him, something real, something lasting. If this message touched something deep inside you, if it reminded you of your silent power, your presence, your worth, then let your energy speak louder than words. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, Queens. We're working hard to bring you the kind of truth that heals, empowers, and helps you rise into the woman you were always meant to be. You deserve content that sees you, understands you, and walks with you. And that's exactly why we're here. Number 1. The way you hold eye contact without flinching makes him feel seen in a way no one else does. There's a moment he never forgets. It's not when you say, "I love you." It's not when you send a long message explaining your worth. It's when your eyes lock with his and you don't flinch. You don't look away. You don't shrink. That moment, where your gaze meets his with calm power and unshaken presence, is when he starts to feel something deeper. He may not say it out loud. He may not even understand it. But he remembers how your eyes made him feel, seen, held, known. Because a woman who can hold eye contact without fear is a woman who is not running from herself. She doesn't need to be loud. She doesn't need to perform. Her presence does the work. That's the kind of energy that doesn't chase. It captivates. A steady gaze from a woman who knows her worth can say more than 1,000 perfect words. It says, "I'm not afraid to be seen." Are you? A quiet but powerful quote says, "The eyes are the mirror of the soul." And when your soul is steady, when it's not begging for validation, but standing in its own light, your eyes become unforgettable. You don't just make him feel attracted, you make him feel exposed and safe. That's rare, and it's powerful. Think of a flame that doesn't flicker in the wind. It doesn't burn out. It holds still, strong, bright. That's the energy of your eye contact when it's backed by self-respect. It doesn't waver. It doesn't ask for attention. It commands it. And that's the kind of unspoken connection that changes the way he sees you forever. So, lovely woman, stop questioning if your presence is enough. It's more than enough. You don't need to speak loudly to be heard. You don't need to explain who you are. Your gaze, your stillness, your calm, those are your weapons. You are not here to chase love. You are here to be felt without saying a word. Say this with me in the comments and claim it. My eyes speak the truth. He feels me without a word. Write it down, queens. Let this be your reminder that your power is not in your volume. It's in your vibration. And if this message stirred something inside you, if it reminded you of the woman you really are, then like this video and subscribe. We are working hard to bring you real, life-changing lessons. Because queens like you were never meant to beg. You were meant to reign. Number 2. Your calm in chaos speaks louder than his loudest thoughts. Have you ever seen a woman so calm in the middle of chaos that it made the whole room pause? Not because she yelled, not because she demanded attention, but because her stillness commanded it. That's what he remembers. That's what makes him feel something he can't explain. When everything around him feels like pressure and noise, your peace becomes the safest place he's ever known. He may not say it, but your calm speaks louder than anything he's ever heard. He's been around drama. He's seen what it looks like when panic leads the room, when insecurity screams through actions, when control hides behind noise. But when he meets a woman who doesn't match his chaos, when she chooses composure over conflict, it gets in his head. A woman who breathes instead of breaks, that's unforgettable. And queens, that's exactly what starts to draw him in, deeply, not just to your body, but to your energy. Your peace becomes his craving. Like a quiet river cutting through a stormed forest, your presence doesn't need permission to be powerful. It just is. And the more you master this energy, the more he finds himself returning, not to your voice, but to how he feels around you. Not every connection starts with fireworks. Some start with silence, the kind of silence that heals, that holds, that makes him lower his armor without even realizing it. As Epictetus once said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And how you don't react, that's your power. A woman who can stay soft but steady when things get heavy becomes the peace his soul didn't know it needed. You don't need to shout to be remembered. You don't need to fight to be respected. Your calm is the storm, and he feels it. So beautiful, woman, let this truth settle deep inside you. You don't attract through noise, you attract through presence. You don't need to explain your worth. You only need to embody it. And that composure, that stillness, that unshakable softness, it's not weakness, it's royal. And now it's time to live like it. Affirm this in the comments, queens. My calm is my power. Let the world feel what your silence says. We are working hard to bring you real, life-changing lessons that help you rise, not louder, but higher. Your peace is your throne, and your time to reign has already begun. Number 3. The way you pull away, not to punish, but to protect your peace, that echoes in his soul. There's a kind of silence that doesn't scream, but it echoes. It stays with him long after the conversation ends. It's not angry, it's not cold, it's just quiet. And that quiet, it shakes him. Because when a woman who once gave him her energy suddenly starts choosing her peace instead of participation, he doesn't hear her words, but he feels her absence, and that absence speaks louder than anything she could ever say. It doesn't say, "I'm punishing you." It says, "I'm protecting me." And that difference, it changes everything. He's not used to that. He's used to women pleading, explaining, overextending just to hold on. But when you step back, not out of bitterness but out of clarity, it hits different. You're not pulling away to hurt him. You're pulling away because the energy is off, because something feels unbalanced, because your soul knows when it's time to reclaim your space, and whether he shows it or not, he feels that shift. A quiet woman who used to be loud with her love is unforgettable, just like a candle you didn't notice until the flame goes out. That's the weight of your silence. That's the power of your retreat. He'll think about it in bed, in the shower, in the car. He'll remember how your presence used to soothe something in him, and now that it's gone, he won't know where to place that ache. You were his warmth, and now that warmth is gone. As Epictetus once said, silence is a powerful reply, and yours, it's not cold, it's holy. You don't retreat because you're weak. You retreat because you're done dancing for someone who forgot the rhythm of your heart. You don't need to slam doors, you just stop knocking. That's when he learns. Sometimes the loudest connection is the one that's no longer there. And this, dear woman, is where your transformation begins. This is when you stop giving all your love to someone who doesn't value it and start giving it back to yourself. This is how a woman becomes a queen, not through noise, but through grace, through boundaries, through protecting her peace like it's her crown. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim your power. My silence protects my peace, and that speaks louder than words. We are here, working with all our heart to give you the wisdom, truth, and strength you deserve. Your healing matters, your voice matters, but above all, your energy leads the way. Number 4, the softness in your touch. When you're not trying to prove anything breaks down his walls. Have you ever noticed how a simple touch can carry more meaning than 1,000 words? Not the kind of touch that's desperate, not the kind that's trying too hard, but the kind that's rooted in peace, the kind that doesn't ask for approval. That's the touch he remembers. That's the touch that reaches places no loud conversation ever could. Because it's never just the hand, it's the energy behind it. It's the softness that doesn't demand anything. It's the moment when he feels safe without knowing why. You see, when you touch him gently, not to prove your love, not to get a reaction, not to pull him closer, but simply because you feel connected in your own calm, he feels it differently. That's when the walls start falling. That's when his guard softens, because he's been around hands that pull, hands that beg, hands that cling. But your touch, it carries no fear. It says, I don't need to own you to connect with you. And that, queens, is what creates deep connection. There's a quote that says, the softest things in the world overcome the hardest things. Water can carve stone, not through force, but through presence. That's what your touch does. It doesn't force its way into his heart. It flows in, quietly, powerfully. Because a man never forgets the woman who made him feel understood without needing to explain anything. Imagine fire and silk. One burns, one soothes, one screams, one speaks in silence. A soft touch, given in stillness, can become the memory that haunts him in the best way. He might not remember every word you said, but he'll remember the way your fingertips told him, you're safe here, but I won't stay where I'm not valued. That's a different kind of intimacy. That's what stays. And if you're reading this with a heavy heart, if you've given your love, your softness, your time to a man who couldn't see it, then hear this now. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not forgotten. You are a queen in the making, learning that your softness is not weakness, it's your weapon. It's the very thing that will break through his armor without ever raising your voice. So now, walk with grace, touch with intention, and carry your power in silence. Because the moment you stop trying to prove yourself and start trusting the energy you bring, he will feel it in ways he can't describe. Affirm this in the comments, queens. My touch speaks louder than my words. Let him feel the silence. Let him miss the calm. Let him crave the softness he didn't know he needed. And if this truth reminded you of the quiet power inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here working hard to bring you real, life-changing lessons, because queens don't beg for love. Queens embody it. Number 5. Your posture alone can speak 1,000 truths, and he's listening. Have you ever walked into a room and felt every eye shift without saying a word? That's not magic, that's posture, and it speaks louder than any introduction ever could. A straight spine, a lifted chin, shoulders pulled back. These are not just habits, these are signals, powerful signals that tell him exactly who you are, without you having to say a single thing. He notices. Oh, he notices. Not just your face, not just your outfit, but the way you carry yourself, the way you sit like you know who you are, the way you walk like you're not chasing anything, but owning everything. That energy hits him before your voice ever does, and that's the difference between a woman he forgets and a woman who haunts his memory. There's an old saying, you can tell who the queen is by the way she enters the room. And it's true. A woman who knows her worth doesn't need to convince anyone. Her body speaks it. Her presence speaks it. And he listens, even when he doesn't realize he is. He feels something in his chest before his mind catches up. He sees the confidence in your frame, the quiet pride in your stance. And suddenly, you're unforgettable. Think of a lioness. She doesn't roar to remind the jungle who she is. She just moves, calm, grounded, undeniable, and everything around her adjusts. That's who you're becoming. The woman whose posture whispers truth, whose silence creates gravity, whose energy says, I'm not here to compete. I already won. And yes, maybe he walked away, maybe he thought you were replaceable, but he doesn't know what he just lost, because a woman who carries herself like she belongs to no one, but chooses to give her love anyway, that's the kind of power that can't be replaced. And once you stop slouching for spaces that weren't built for your crown, everything shifts. Lovely woman, it's time to rise. Your body has been carrying the weight of pain for far too long. But now, let it carry your power. Let your posture become the message. Let your silence speak royalty. Because once you stand tall, he won't just see the difference, he'll feel it. Here is powerful affirmation. My posture speaks before I do. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. Let the world know you are no longer shrinking for love. You are standing in it. We're here working hard to bring you the truth that heals, awakens, and transforms. Because you were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand tall. Number 6. Your laughter that comes from a place of wholeness makes him want to stay longer. There's something about a woman's laughter when it comes from a place of wholeness. It disarms him, it softens him, it stays with him, not because it's loud, not because it's staged, but because it's real, it's rare, and it's not trying to impress. He's heard laughter before, but yours, It doesn't ask for attention. It invites connection. It's not a performance. It's a reflection of the joy you carry without needing his validation. And that, right there, that's what pulls him closer without a word. He might not even understand why he keeps thinking about you after the night ends, why your laugh echoes in his mind when things go quiet. But deep down, he knows it wasn't just the sound, it was the feeling behind it. That little moment told him more about you than any long conversation could, because laughter that comes from peace, not performance, hits differently. It tells him you're not waiting for happiness. You are happiness. And that makes him want to stay longer just to feel that glow again. There's a quote that says, "Joy is the most magnetic force a woman can carry." And queens, it's true. Think of sunlight. It doesn't ask for permission to shine, it just does. And everything around it leans in to feel its warmth. That's what happens when you smile for no reason, when you laugh because you feel good, not because you're trying to make him like you. In that moment, he sees you, not the version that needs attention, not the version that's proving something. He sees the version of you that's whole, grounded, radiant, and that's what he connects to. He doesn't want perfection. He doesn't even need you to always be put together, but when he senses that your joy comes from within and not from his approval, that's when he realizes you're different. You're not there to fill a gap. You're there because you chose to be. And that choice, that freedom, it's magnetic. It shows him a kind of love that's not rooted in need, but in strength. So, dear woman, laugh from your soul. Smile with no agenda. Let your joy be the music that makes him feel something he didn't know he was missing, because that's the connection he never saw coming, but now he can't forget. Write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. My joy is my power, and it speaks louder than words. Let the world feel the warmth of your laughter, queens. We're working hard to bring you life-changing lessons. Because you were never meant to be silent, you were meant to shine. Number 7. The moment you stop explaining yourself and just let your energy speak, that's when he gets hooked. Have you ever noticed how silence can say everything you're too tired to explain? That moment when you stop repeating yourself, when you stop justifying your heart, when you stop begging to be understood, and instead you just become the message. That's when he starts to feel you in a way he never did before, because, Queen, a woman who doesn't argue for her worth radiates it. That's when the connection gets deeper, not because of what you said, but because of what you no longer needed to say. He may not always understand your silence, but he will feel it. A woman who is rooted in her own value, who no longer explains every emotion, every boundary, every decision, that woman becomes a mystery he can't let go of. The energy shifts. He starts leaning in. Not because you're trying harder, but because you finally stopped. You stopped trying to convince him you were enough. And that's when he begins to realize you always were. There's a quote that says, "A lion doesn't turn around when a small dog barks," and Queen, that's you. You don't need to explain why you walked away. You don't need to break down why his inconsistency no longer works for you. You let your silence do the talking. You let your peace be the boundary. And suddenly, the same man who used to overlook you now starts feeling your absence louder than your presence ever spoke. Think of the ocean. It doesn't explain its waves. It doesn't ask permission to rise and fall. It just moves, with power, with rhythm, with purpose. That's how your energy works when you stop over-explaining and just start embodying who you are. He feels it in the way you carry yourself. He sees it in the calmness of your eyes. He hears it in the silence you leave behind when you choose yourself instead of chasing connection. Because in love, Queen, it's not always your words that make him stay. It's your energy, and once you stop pouring explanations into places that only drain you, you become magnetic. You become unforgettable. He doesn't just hear you anymore, he feels you, and that's what creates true connection. So hear this, majestic woman. You are not here to explain your worth. You are here to embody it. And from this moment on, let your silence echo with power. Let your calm be the thing he remembers. Let your energy speak so loud, he has no choice but to feel it in his chest. Here is powerful affirmation. My energy speaks louder than words. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it with your whole heart. Let the world know you are done explaining and ready to reign. And if this message awakened something in you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to bring you truth that heals, wisdom that empowers, and lessons that remind you. Your silence is your strength. Your time is now.